Welcome to District 191, meeting of the Board of Education on January 12th, 2017. I want to welcome everybody that's joining us from the television world, and also our guests and so on that are here with us this evening in person as well. So welcome to all of you. A little cold out there, but that happens this time of year. So we'll just gut through it like we do as strong Minnesotans that we are. So with that, I would like to ask Abigail to join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So first up this evening, we have two new board members and a returning board member, and we need to go through the oath of office for these board members, and then we'll proceed forward with the regular meeting. I'd ask for the three of you to stand. You have to listen to me talk for a little bit, but then it is an honor that you have been elected to guide the education of our community's children. As you recite the oath of office, you assume a tremendous responsibility as the director of our school district with the duties empowered by the Minnesota legislature. This power puts you and other members of the school board in the position of being both morally and legally responsible for equitable, quality education for every student in the district. In carrying out this responsibility, you will be asked to fulfill the roles of vision, structure, accountability, and advocacy. In providing vision, the board, with extensive participation of the community, envisions the community's educational future and then formulates the goals, defines the outcomes, and sets the course for the public schools. To achieve the vision, the board establishes a structure and creates an environment designed to ensure all students the opportunity to attain their maximum potential through a sound organizational framework. Because as a board we must be accountable to the community, we must ensure a continuous assessment of student achievement and all conditions affecting the education of our children. As board members, we serve as education's key advocate on behalf of students and our community schools to advance the vision of our schools. Furthermore, we must strive to work together and with the superintendent and staff to lead the district toward fulfilling the vision we have created, fostering excellence for every student in the areas of academic skills and knowledge, citizenship, and personal development. Having signed the acceptance of the office and oath of office, will you please raise your hand and publicly affirm your commitment by repeating the oath of office after me? I affirm that I will support the Constitution.
I affirm that I will support the Constitution
of the United States and of this state.
of the United States and of this state.
And that I will discharge faithfully
And I will discharge faithfully
the duties of the office of school board member
the duties of the office of school board member
of Independent School District Number 191
of Independent School District number 191
to the best of my judgment and ability.
to the best of my judgment and ability.
So I may be the first to welcome you to the board. Great to have you on board. Thank you very much. Next on our agenda is the approval agenda. Do I have a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Are there any questions, comments about tonight's agenda? Seeing none, all in favor of approving tonight's agenda, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. First up is the annual organization of the Board of Education. This is where we, as a group, we select our officers for the coming calendar year, and then there's a number of different procedural things that we also need to go through. This is kind of part of the general organization of the board. So first up, we have election of the chair. I have faithfully served my duty as on the chair of the past year, and it's now time for me to step down. But I will conduct the election of the chair, and once that election is complete, the new chair will then assume responsibility for leading the meeting going forward. Do I have a nomination for chair of the school board in the year 2017?
Chair Luth,
Yes.
I nominate Abigail Alt for
Thank you.
chair.
Abigail Alt has been nominated for chair for the coming year. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Any other nominations? Hearing and seeing none, we will then proceed. We will do this by just a voice vote, like we do most of our motions tonight. All those in favor of Abigail Alt serving as our chair for the coming year signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Welcome aboard. And with that, I turn the mic over to you.
Thank you. Before I continue, I would like to thank you, Dan, for your leadership this past year. It has really been a pleasure to work with you and to learn from you, and I feel like we are now setting a foot onto another great year after your leadership this past year, so thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. Next, we are on to the election of vice chair. Do we have any nominations for the office of vice chair?
Yes, I would like to nominate Dee Dee Courier.
Dee Dee Courier has been nominated for the office of vice chair. Are there any other nominations for the office of vice chair? Any other nominations for the office of vice chair? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor of Dee Dee Courier becoming vice chair, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And on to clerk. Do we have a recommendation for clerk?
I would like to nominate Director Schmid for the position of clerk.
Director Schmid has been nominated for the office of clerk. Any other nominations for the office of clerk? Any other nominations for the office of clerk? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor of Director Schmid assuming the role of clerk, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to treasurer. Do we have a recommendation for treasurer?
I'll nominate Director Vandenboom.
Director Vandenboom has been nominated for treasurer. Any other nominations for treasurer? Any other nominations for the office of treasurer? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor of Director Vandenboom becoming our treasurer signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, salaries, we're on to item E. Salaries of school board members are set annually. In January 2016, the salaries were set at $550 per month for each director, plus an additional monthly stipend of $50 for the chair in recognition of increased duties and expenses associated with that position. The recommendation is that salaries of board members be set at $550 per month and that the chairperson receives an additional $50 per month in recognition of additional duties and expenses associated with that position. Do I have a motion to approve the recommendation?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor of the recommendation signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Regular meetings of the school board. We have a recommendation that all have listed here the meeting dates for the year 2017, And the recommendation is that all regular meetings of the ISD 191 Board of Education commence at 6:30 p.m. on the dates noted below, with meetings conducted at the Diamond Head Education Center and Cablecast. Superintendent listening sessions or board listening sessions will be scheduled at 6 p.m. before regular board meetings. Do I have a motion to approve this recommendation?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor of approving the calendar as noted signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, item G through N pertain to the calendar year 2017. They are of a routine nature, and although board action is required, discussion is usually unnecessary. I recommend approval of all resolutions as a single consent agenda. In the event a board member wishes to discuss any item, it should be removed from the list so that it may receive individual attention. Are there any items that board members would like to remove for separate discussion? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve?
I move G to N.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor of approving items G through N signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, and that concludes our annual organization meeting. Thank you, everyone. And we will move into our Future Ready and Community Strong segment of our meeting, starting with the Youth Frontiers Award recipient. Superintendent Gothard?
Thank you very much. Honored guests are approaching the podium tonight, and it is my sincere honor to introduce a very special educator and a wonderful student in 191 to you tonight. And we're welcoming Burnsville High School senior Samantha Honglong and Burnsville High School teacher Katie Burke to our Board of Education meeting. Thank you for being here tonight to both of you. Samantha was recently selected to receive the 2016 Youth Frontiers Character Award. Youth Frontiers is a nonpartisan organization funded through a partnership between schools, private foundations, corporations, and individuals. Each year, Youth Frontiers presents the Character Award to a student who stands out as an exceptional leader who exemplifies the values in kindness, courage, and respect. Samantha received her award at a ceremony attended by hundreds of the area's top corporate, nonprofit, education, and civic leaders on December 15th. Lucky enough, I was fortunate to be there, and I can tell you it is a significant award, and I was so proud of her on that day to share that moment with her and with Ms. Burke. Samantha, and her family, I should mention as well. Samantha also received a $5,000 college scholarship from Luther Automotive Group. Samantha was nominated for this honor by Katie Burke, who is an advisor to Burnsville Strong and has gotten to know Samantha very well over recent years. I'd like to show you a video made by Youth Frontiers about Samantha's award at this time.
I'm Katie Burke, English teacher and Burnsville Strong advisor at Burnsville High School, and I nominated Samantha Honglong for this year's Youth Frontiers Character Award. Samantha epitomizes leadership. She's been a vital member of Burnsville Strong, a student group whose goal is to inspire, support, and unite the student body and community at large. She is also an active member of Goals for Brainpower, a group who organizes a fundraiser to fill backpacks with food for students who have food insecurities to take home over the weekend, which ensures they have something to eat. Samantha chooses to devote her time to groups that directly benefit others, and her leadership is apparent. Samantha is the first to volunteer to be a student leader on Youth Frontiers Retreats, one of Burnsville Strong's major events. As part of the Positive Outreach Committee, Samantha helps plan activities that spread positivity throughout BHS. Everything from writing Valentines to support workers to writing positive body image messages on bathroom mirrors. Samantha has been an integral part of spreading messages of unity, inclusion, and gratitude. Despite the fact that Samantha is currently a full-time post-secondary student at the University of Minnesota, she is still deeply committed to making BHS a better place. Her volunteerism has not waned, even though she spends the majority of her days on the University of Minnesota campus. Samantha is always a positive ambassador for our school and the organizations she represents. She makes it to every event she can and doesn't just show up, but takes an active role to make the events better and involve everyone. She also shows great courage and respect during difficult times. Last year, BHS suffered the loss of a beloved art teacher. Samantha was deeply saddened by his loss. I saw her push her grief aside to comfort others. She then took her leadership skills and honored his life by raising funds for Bowls for Brain Power, a cause close to both their hearts. Samantha is one of the kindest people I know. She's always reaching out and trying to make people feel comfortable in what can be sometimes uncomfortable situations. Through her leadership, she's making her school a better place and her peers better people by actively working to improve school and community culture for everyone.
And guests tonight here and those watching at home, let me tell you, when this video was shown at the Marriott Center City.
I'm Katie Burke, English teacher.
Thank you very much, Ms. Burke. When this was shown downtown at the Marriott Center City Center, and just incredible. That place was overfilled with people and some of the top executives in the metro area. And to see Samantha on the stage with Joe Kavanaugh, the CEO of Youth Frontiers, was just an incredibly meaningful opportunity for her family, but for our community. So without any further ado, Samantha, congratulations, and to Ms. Burke, thank you for nominating her and sharing your story of your relationship with all of us, and we're just so proud of you. So I'll now turn it over to you, and from us, let's congratulate Samantha for her work.
Well, you know, it was an honor to be able to nominate Samantha because she has done so much for Burnsville Strong and Bowls for Brain Power. And she's one of those students who, without the recognition, she would still do everything that she does. She doesn't do it for the recognition. She does it because she's giving back to her community, and it makes a difference too. And like I said, she is one of the kindest students I know, and she is very respectful, and she is a great leader, and we're very lucky to have her.
And Samantha, I saw you on a stage with thousands of people, and you sat incredibly poised and answered questions from Joe Kavanaugh and just did a fantastic job. So tell us a little bit about why leadership is important to you and why Burnsville Strong in particular is something that you have a special feeling for and commitment to.
Well, like growing up in this district, I've always felt like it wasn't like hard to step up, and like Burnsville Strong was like a group that like I love their motto, to inspire, to support, and to unite. So it wasn't hard to follow that either because I already followed it every day. So being in the group, it was a way to give back and do a lot of volunteer activities and give back to the community with Burnsville Strong. So I'm just very grateful to be in this district. So.
Awesome. Board members, do we have any comments or questions?
Samantha, congratulations. It's very exciting to see our students, excel not only in the classroom, but outside the classroom. Everything you've done, in the classroom is obvious, but, it's not always obvious, what our students are doing outside the classroom to bring, to this community, to the school district, and even wider. What's really inspiring for me is to see how Burnsville Strong has grown from, tragedy 4 years ago into this organization that fosters all this volunteerism. What you do with the ninth graders, what everyone is doing in that group, and it's just so incredible now to see some of the fruits come out of that because you got involved with that organization, got the nomination, and actually got the wonderful award. So congratulations.
Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Samantha, it's just impressive. Your credential already, and you haven't graduated from high school. And the Bowls for Brain Power is one of my favorite fundraisers of the district, and it now has such a meaningful history in so many dimensions. And your addition to it and your work with it is appreciated, I think, in ways that maybe you don't even realize. So thank you and best wishes. What are you studying for at the U?
I would like to go to Northwestern University in Chicago or DePaul and then study either biology and become a dentist or communications and journalism and like that field. So they're very different, but we'll figure it out.
Well, and you need skills of health and writing in almost any occupation that you would pursue. Well, best wishes to you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes. Of course, without, behind every student, we have a strong family that encourages, and we'd like to acknowledge your family, Samantha.
Oh, my family's
Your
not here.
family's,
Yeah. Sorry.
that's okay.
Well, we still
We
acknowledge
still
them.
acknowledge them. That's okay. And just for me, when I learned that you had earned this award, I wasn't surprised. I was surprised to learn that you are a full-time college student, because it seems like every time I'm at the high school, there you are. So, so good for you for just balancing that so skillfully, and you definitely have a bright future. So best wishes. Thank you. All right, and next, I would like to invite Dr. Kathy Funston and Marcia Sexton to the podium.
So many of the presentations look alike, so it's just finding the right one. Well, good evening, Chair Alt, members of the Board of Education, Superintendent Gothard, and our student representative, Charlie Green. It is with a great pleasure that we are here tonight to share information that addresses both Community Strong and Future Ready. And tonight, Marcia Sexton, who is our College and Career Specialist, will be sharing information about the tremendous work that she has been engaging in the past few years at the high school in building up college and career readiness activities, events that really help create that plan for all of our students past the doors of our high school in our district. Just like Samantha here, who is college ready and in college while she is in high school. So this is tremendous work. Marcia brings to this work a Global Career Development Facilitator certificate, and that is an international certificate. So she brings a lot of skill and knowledge to the work, and it's very exciting, everything that she is doing in this role. So I will introduce, Marcia Sexton.
Good evening, Chair Alt, board members, and Superintendent Gothard and Charlie Green. It's nice to be here tonight. Driven by shifts in labor market and the demands for skills critical to successful employment, college and career planning has become a central focus of educational reform. At Burnsville High School, the College and Career Center is available to help students with all their aspects of college and career planning. These efforts are supported by Minnesota statute, which outlines requirements and planning for students' successful transition to post-secondary education and next employment, including personal learning plans. By serving the unique needs of all of our students, families, and communities, the College and Career Center provides students with information about post-secondary opportunities, requirements, and support systems for their next steps after Burnsville High School. It provides opportunities for all students to learn about future-ready skills and brings businesses into the high school for information about jobs and careers. Year-long activities provide all students opportunities to learn, explore, and plan so that they are future-ready. I'll briefly describe each of these events, and they can also be explored in more detail at the Burnsville High School website under the College and Career link, which is also listed at the bottom of these slides. Throughout the presentation, I may refer to college. This means any and all post-secondary opportunities, which can include 2-year, 4-year, technical, and sometimes specialized on-the-job training experiences. College and military visits are attended by students throughout the year. Over 125 colleges visit Burnsville High School each year to help students understand the college process, including information about programs and degrees, admissions requirements, tuition, and scholarships. All 5 branches of the military provide information monthly. In the past 4 months, 600 students have visited the College and Career Center for a variety of reasons. 29% of those students came to the Career Center to talk with specific college admissions representatives. During College Knowledge Month, students explore college and career options. Guest speakers present on college topics such as how to choose a college, how to write a college essay, how to pay for college. To help students plan for careers after high school, guest speakers present career topics. Some past guest speakers include Ruth Karen, a Delta pilot, and Becky Keeley, a U.S. diplomat from West Africa. Other speakers include nuclear scientists, police officers, automotive technicians, and many more. Seniors have the opportunity to complete college applications during College Knowledge Month. This year, we have 2 college application days, when college representatives join our school counselors to help students apply to college. 20% of our seniors applied to colleges during College Knowledge Month. As of today, 48% of our seniors have applied to at least one college. Our next college application date will be February 15th. Each year, Burnsville High School hosts a college fair to assist students in preparing and applying for post-secondary learning. The fair consists of 50 post-secondary institutions from the 5-state area. Typically, 300 to 700 students and parents attend the event each year. In December, the College and Career Center sponsored the first Scholarship Day to teach students how to find and apply for scholarships. Guest speakers presented information about ways to make college affordable. Students used Naviance, our college and career planning software, to find applicable scholarships.
So at the end of this month, on January 30th, we are hosting a new event, or shall I say a revised event. We have had a career fair at Burnsville High School for many, many years. And now that we have a new pathway model that's tied to our Vision 191 and the redesign of the high school, we're going to change this event just a little bit. It's going to be from 3:30 to 6 p.m. so that our students who are just finishing up school can attend the event and then take activity buses home, or still be available to participate in the sporting activities that they have that day. We are inviting up to 80 businesses, and they will be tied to the career fields that we have. So we have engineering firms that will attend the career fair to share information around all aspects of their industry, really from the finance department to the engineering department to the HR department. And they would be in the area for our design, engineering, and manufacturing businesses. So we will have 4 sections with up to 20 businesses per section for our students to explore interests that they may have. Our students will also take a career interest inventory right before this event, so that we're tying it tightly to the information that they have already gathered about themselves, and it's also right before registration. So students can find out about what talents they may have, what they may be interested in, go talk to some business professionals in that area, and then when they're ready to register, they can make better informed decisions around the types of courses that they may want to select. Tomorrow, we'll be receiving some postcards, and they'll be going out to our students and families, advertising this event. And we hope to see both our students and our families at this event.
Great. Thank you both very much. Board members,
We're not finished.
you're not finished? I'm sorry.
There's more.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
We'll talk fast.
Yeah. Sorry.
My first blunder.
A lot going on. Okay, this year, the College and Career Center will host 2 FAFSA workshops to assist students in preparing and applying for financial aid. Burnsville High School will collaborate with college financial aid officers to provide free professional assistance to help students and parents complete the free application for federal student aid, commonly known as FAFSA. With the help of FAFSA money, students who may struggle to afford college and have the opportunity to continue their academic learning. FAFSA money can be used for 4-year, 2-year technical and career institutions. An Armed Forces Information Night will be scheduled in the near future to help students and parents understand the enlistment process. The College and Career Center will also host a summer enrichment information session. This session will help students learn about and apply to programs that reflect their career interests. These programs support our Pathways model as they allow students to see how their education at Burnsville will affect their future goals. For example, a student who may be interested in nursing might attend the Scrubs Camp, then enroll in our Certified Nursing Assistant program, and give them a head start to their future learning in that particular career. These opportunities also allow students to see that other young people have the same or similar goals and aspirations that they have. Given recent shifts in the labor market, over 85 businesses sought to employ Burnsville High School students last year. Because of these continuing labor shifts, the job fair was born. In April, businesses will be invited to Burnsville High School to offer our students real-world employment. After high school, the summer employment opportunities, when coupled with the students' pathway interests and credentials they may be earning, support the student in planning for their futures. Decision Day is a celebration for all seniors to announce their future plans for their life after high school. Whether it's a 2- or 4-year college or university, technical program, armed forces, employment, gap year, the BEST program, or any of the other options available to our students, all seniors are invited to celebrate with cake and camaraderie. They are also encouraged to put their name on a grad cap, which is proudly displayed on the front window of the College and Career Center for all to see. Half, or over 350 seniors, came into the Career Center last year to declare their future plans. 62% reported going to the post-secondary institution in Minnesota, and 38% reported out-of-state post-secondary institutions, from coast to coast and even Canada. 14 of our seniors enlisted in the armed forces. According to Navient, 69% of all seniors in the class of 2016 applied to one or more institutions. As college and career readiness activities expand at the high school, some supports are currently being implemented, including ongoing counselor professional development. As first-line support systems for students, our counselors are working on developing systems and mindsets that offer and create opportunity for all students. Along with our community and through partnerships, we are developing work-based learning opportunities. These opportunities allow the students to extend their learning in a mentored, real-world setting. Work-based learning can include internships, job shadows, and mentorships. Future activities will include determining how we can help every student at every level learn strategies that will promote a college and career mindset. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Board members, questions or comments? Charlie?
Earlier in the year, I had the opportunity to talk to Ms. Sexton in the Career Center, and she was easily able to answer all of my questions about college and the applications that I was going through, and I just wanted to reiterate the value that she has to Burnsville High School.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Charlie. Darcy, yes.
Do you track the grade levels of the students that are coming to the Center for Career and College Readiness activities and counseling or questions?
We do track all students that come in to find out exactly why they're coming in. And they could be tracked by grade as well.
And so I'm curious what grade levels those students are coming in, if they are more seniors, or are we reaching down into the lower grade levels as well? Getting students to think a little earlier about pathways, about what they might want to do. The sooner you catch that, the sooner you get that inspiration and that planning, the better off you're going to be for lots of all the complicated things that are involved for after graduation.
When students come in, it kind of varies depending on the time of year. So we get a lot, a whole mix in October because that's College Knowledge Month. So everybody's coming in and learning about things. But in the fall, we do get a lot of seniors that are applying because we do have events that kind of cater to them so that we can help them with applying to those colleges and also helping them with FAFSA and with scholarships and things like that. So get a lot of juniors in the springtime because they're starting to explore different colleges. And so when the college visits come in, they come in typically for that in the springtime. As far as sophomores and freshmen, the freshmen right now are, actually they're coming in tomorrow. I will get every single freshman in there tomorrow. They're all coming in for a little visit. Actually, it's through the Success 191 class. So they're coming in just for a little orientation, get a little peek at what's going on in there. And the sophomores have come in the past years. I've invited them all to come in and to be introduced to Naviance as well as to take interest inventories and things. So they all come in different times.
But for the most part, they're seniors and juniors, mostly seniors and some juniors.
Yeah, well, a lot of juniors and seniors, you know.
Excellent, thank you.
Great. Anything else? Dee Dee?
This is another example of the yardstick I use between what I had back in the ancient times for guidance and decision-making on what I wanted to do in the future and what's available to our young people. This is so amazing to me. The tools to help select what they want to do, guidance on schools and applications. So sometimes we forget that things are better now in many ways than in the past. Last Friday, though, this question popped in. I was a judge at the DECA regional for Megan Malone, and I encourage all board members to consider that in the future. It's really eye-opening. And I'm curious, do you work with Megan or how do you work with staff in terms of career development for students?
I do work with, especially our business department. I mean, sometimes we'll do things like resume writing and things like that and come in. And a lot of times we'll work with Naviance as well. Okay. And, you know, that's just one of the things that this school district has provided, which is a wonderful tool that we can use. And every student can use it. It's not just for one or two. Everyone can use it. They can all use it for career. They can all use it for college, you know, or training programs and things. So I guess I have to give it back to the school district that's really provided well for the students and to help them to be successful.
The other thing I was sort of very proud of our school district and our direction, but I don't know if anyone else caught in today's newspaper that if you only get a high school education, you are falling farther and farther behind in terms of economics. So I am so glad we are an encouraging institution to our students to pursue beyond high school. And your work in the Career Center affects that. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you. The new Pathways program was magnificent for that.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the presentation. You know, I'm very interested in understanding how we involve parents in the process. And I bring that up, you know, you mentioned things like Naviance, and I don't know that a lot of our public really understands what Naviance is. You know, it's a fabulous resource. And my understanding, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is that's available not only to students, but also to their families. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so I'm kind of building on what Darcy was talking about. I'm interested in knowing, do we know, for example, which students are coming from a family that has never had a college graduate? For example, their parents have not graduated college and so forth. And do we know early on so that we potentially can provide some guidance for those students, a different level of guidance, if you will, because it is a very challenging, the whole college thing is a challenging, place to navigate as a parent for your student. And so I see a lot of, in the presentation, I heard a lot of things that we were sort of doing for the students. But for some of those parents, I think it can be overwhelming as well. So what are we doing to do some outreach? And do we know specifically some of those students that are maybe first-time students with college that we might provide a higher level of service to?
So I can talk a little bit about, what we're going to be doing in the future. The College and Career Center, we're so fortunate because many high schools do not have a College and Career Center like we do. So our students already have access to tremendous support and access to learning about their future plans. One of the, and it's still up on the screen, one of the future activities is to really take a look at this really E14, we have it as K14, but an E14 system. So a 191 system that would be encompassing of the questions that you're asking right now. How do we engage our families? How do we engage our community? How do we engage our partners in supporting college and career readiness for all of our students? So that is something that we will be planning. Marcia and I have already started some of those planning meetings. We're not there yet, but when we get there, we'd be happy to come back and share the strategic plan for those activities.
Jim?
Thank you very much. Common question for you. So the common is, another example of a benefit that we're going to get from having our freshmen or ninth graders in the high school. Every day of the year, they're seeing colleges come through, they're seeing employers come through, and even if they're not thinking about it, it's getting ingrained in their head, whereas in the junior high model, they weren't seeing this. They're seeing it every day for that entire ninth grade year, whether they participate or not, so that's just another value. I do have a question on the FAFSA. So we're doing that in February, and of course, this year they moved FAFSA up to October, and so I'm wondering if we're way too late for senior parents, because the first, having 4 now that I've had go through, the first, they have multiple deadlines for FAFSA, I understand, but while I probably couldn't give the course, I probably could give you all the milestones. Now the new first cutoff is January 1st for most college. Have your FAFSA in for priority consideration. So I'm almost wondering if that schedule, we might want to adopt that schedule to have it in September prior to it opening up in October, now that they've kind of changed the game there a little bit.
Actually, we did have,
Oh, good.
in October, we did have a financial aid meeting in the evening, and students as well as parents, we encouraged them to come into that. So that was the first one. And then following that, a couple days after, then we had one of these FAFSA completion events where parents and their students could come in and complete the FAFSA. Just this past week, we had our second financial aid meeting because we wanted to make sure we were able to catch everyone that wanted to come to this meeting. And it was very, very successful. And so we went through the meeting, and then again, we'll have this next FAFSA coming up.
And that's wonderful, actually. I'm glad, I probably saw that announcement. I don't remember, though, if in the announcements or in the invitations, if we actually specify, it opens October, first priority, just to encourage, more early attendance, just so our students' families get every advantage, around that, around filling it out.
And Director Schmidt, just to address that question, it's a really good question. Part of our comprehensive planning is how do we communicate effectively with all of our families, and also how do we provide those multiple opportunities, not just can you attend in the evening on this one day, but what are all of the different types of opportunities where we can provide outreach to all of our families so that they fully understand college and career readiness and those processes that go into that, because they can be very complicated. So all of those processes to encourage all students to apply for college, access the financial aid that they may, that might be available to them, and get into the schools that meet their talents and skills.
Wonderful, thanks.
Great, thank you. Yes, Eric.
Thank you for speaking here tonight. I've been into your area there. I'm impressed with your pennant collection you have in there. You have a fair amount of good stats about the students you're working with and where they're coming from. Have you done anything after? Have you thought about any ways of maybe following up with some of them? You know, getting them accepted into college and then just sort of, you know, they're gone after senior year is great, but are we able to look beyond it all? Has there been any talk about that? Even as something as simple as a round of surveys, voluntary surveys sent out to past students asking how their college experience went, and maybe there should be something feedback into the loop.
Yes, we actually do. I'm going to refer back to Naviance again, because there is a link to the National Clearinghouse. So we are able to get the information on our past graduates, where they are, and things like that. So, yeah.
Great.
And that's relatively new, because we've been asking about that for years, by the way. And Naviance, among many attributes, is allowing a much better linkage once they leave and move on, and where they go and so on. Because it's hard to trace them down after they've left, or they're out of the system, so to speak. But now they're not. We have linkages, so.
Yes.
So just one quick question. So if there are families watching on TV and they wanted to access Naviance, who would they call at the high school, or how would they know what to do, or do they already have login credentials? Or could you just kind of give us a quick, what would they do if they really had some interest in being able to access that resource?
Well, every student has had experience with Naviance. Every student. They start in junior high, middle school now. And so every student has had access to it. And they can go home and they can give their parents their login information. They can actually, access it. So it's very easy to access. They all have the knowledge to do it.
My students had access too, but I never ever found out about it or got the credentials. So I think, I understand and I agree with you, but I do, from a communication perspective, I just want to make sure that we reach out to the parents and let them know that it is a resource that's available to them to help in this area. I just, because not all of our kids come home and say, hey, here's my login credentials for Naviance.
Right.
So I just want to make sure they know who to contact and that sort of thing.
I agree.
Point well taken.
We can address
Who would
that.
that be? So who would they call? You? Would they
They
call
can-
the high school office?
They can call myself, they can call any of the guidance staff as well, guidance counselors.
We can also put information on the website in multiple languages, kind of the how-to, step-by-step.
Great, thank you. Yes.
One more thing, I'm the parent up here with not having experienced the middle school, senior high experience yet, but as a parent of elementary students, I would actually encourage you to consider some exposure at the elementary level. And that, obviously it'd be real rough stuff, but I've experienced that a little bit with my children, just in helping them understand why they're doing what they're doing now and how that's going to build to what the future. So some beginning building blocks would be valuable.
I totally agree with that. I think we need to bring exposure into the elementary schools of, people they're interested in, whether they're firefighters or, pilots or whatever. You know, they all have a big dream, kids do. And I think it's so important that we help them explore those things by bringing people into their schools and having them get engaged with them, telling them about their occupations, let them experience, you know, what does a firefighter wear? You know, everything. They need to see it, they need to feel it, you know, they need to understand it early on.
Superintendent Gothard.
I just wanted to add a couple quick comments. Thank you, Marcia and Kathy, very much. You know, seeing Council of Professional Development around college and career planning up here, I got to spend some time with our 6 through 12 middle school and high school counselors this week, and you know, there's some overwhelming feelings that they're sharing around all this new that we're doing and this increased focus. And what I want to make sure that everybody knows is that college and career planning is not done by certain people. It's all of us in this community. The decisions we make at this table, the members of my team who are allocating resources or setting up professional learning opportunities for a myriad of staff, not only our counselors. And every member of this community can ask 2 questions to kids. What do you want to do when you grow up? And what are you passionate about? And it can't stop there. There has to be a commitment from this entire community to support our kids in any way possible, to open up doors that previously might have been closed or they didn't know about. So I can't say that enough, that our counselors are not in no way is this presentation stating that, but our counselors can't do this alone. They need the support of everyone. They're leaders in this area. I view them as leaders, but leaders need really good people and supporting people as well. So thank you.
Thank you.
Great. So to wrap up, thank you both very much. This is just an important piece in that academic puzzle and helping our students achieve success. So thank you for sharing with us.
Thank you.
All right, moving into the business portion of our meeting. We have a consent agenda. Although board action is required, it is generally unnecessary to hold discussion on these items. In the event a board member wishes to discuss an item, that item will be moved for separate consideration. Do we have any items tonight to be moved for separate consideration? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda? Second?
Second.
All right. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, is there any discussion? Oh, all right. All those in favor of approving tonight's consent agenda, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? Motion carries. All right, and moving into new business, we are being asked to approve the resolution for American Indian education, and I'd like to invite Dr. Stacy Stanley, Director of Instruction Curriculum and Student Support Services, and Dominic Goodbuffalo, one of our cultural liaisons. Welcome.
All right, good evening, Chair Alt. I have to get used to saying that now. Good evening, Chair Alt, Directors Charlie and Superintendent Gothard. As we come to the table every year, we need to work with our Native American families based on statute, and they submit a vote of concurrence or non-concurrence. And so I will read to you that information, and then Dominic is here to talk about any programming questions. So, state law and school board policy require the establishment of an American Indian Parent Advisory Committee. Members present at the meeting held on November 29th, 2016 were Robin Knight, Gina Stout, Dominic Goodbuffalo, and myself. The chairperson of our American Indian Parent Committee is Christy Pavola, and she's a parent in the school district. So we have a recommendation for you. Pursuant Minnesota statute, section 124D 78, subdivision 2, it is recommended that the ISD 191 school board accept the American Indian Parent Advisory Group vote of concurrence.
All right, this is an action item. Do I have a motion to approve the recommendation?
So moved.
Second? All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion, or are there any questions?
I'd like to just a brief, there's some history here, and a year ago this time, I remember sitting down with Dominic and Stacy and talking about, and there were some things that we needed to work out, both with our American Indian representatives and the administration and the board, for that matter. And it pleases me to no end that here we are a year later, and I don't want to make it sound like a formality, because it's a big thing, it's important. But it is that those communications and those relationships have been established, and it sure looks to me, and Dominic, you can certainly disagree if you want, but I mean, it looks to me like that, the work that you have done over the last couple of years in particular has really solidified this area for our Native American population, the parents, the family members, the students themselves, and it shows in that where we're at. Just literally, a few months, 12 months later or whatever. So I personally want to reach out. I've had an opportunity to spend some time with you, not lately, I missed that actually, but I want to thank all the work that you've done, and I hear nothing but good things about you wherever I go in the district. So thank you very much for your efforts, because it shows. It's the results are right there. So thanks.
Thank you.
Director Vandenboom?
Yeah, I just have a simple question, which is, and I don't know if the committee talked about this, but did the committee feel that our district serves the American Indian population well?
First off, good evening, Chair Alt, Superintendent Gothard, Board. Last year, it was a little rocky coming in. I remember that first week, and Alt asked me to share the story tonight. That, the one thing that I picked up was trust was kind of rocky. And then going from that night to the present moment, that the trust is getting better. And I see that with the family and parents. And this year it's been, getting there, day-to-day basis, but kind of just what's been going on right now is pretty good. So just with our current parent committee, and there's been no, I guess what to say, conflicts, I guess, so.
If I could add to that, I think that Dominic is, being really humble. A year ago, you are absolutely right that our Native American, American Indian families had some serious concerns regarding programming in the district, regarding a lack of trust. And Dominic came in, he's not, we were talking tonight, he's not been here a full year yet. And his presence in working with families and listening to them and following through and being transparent has made a world of difference. I go to the family meetings and they are very upbeat. They have truly been heard and found a voice, and believe that we are hearing their voice, as evidenced by all of his work. So his ability to build relationships amongst our staff, to build relationships in every one of our schools has made such a tremendous difference. And I'm personally very thankful that he decided to become a 191er.
Okay, sorry, I just want to comment if I close that out, but I'm very heartened by the recommendation, especially given where we were a year ago. And I don't want to speak for the entire board, but I know as a board member, I'm very committed to doing what it takes to serve our American Indian and other populations. And I hope that those families feel the same way about the board in general. So thank you very much.
Director Schmidt?
Thank you. A couple things. I think one's a technicality. In the actual resolution, we list the date of November 20th of 2013. I'm pretty sure it should be 2016. I'm not sure if we need an amendment or not, but just calling it out.
Yep.
It's in the third to last paragraph. But I want to concur. I don't think people are beating around the bush or not, but last year there was a vote of non-concurrence, and it was quite a, I won't say a shock, but certainly a setback. I have neighbors who graduated, 2 American Indian students, and I went and talked to them. They weren't part of the committee, so I wanted to get their feeling for their experience in the district to, better understand, because it was kind of, from a board perspective, quite a blow. And so,
Right.
to see you come on and be such an advocate, strong advocate, not only for the American Indian population and students, but for the school district, what a turnaround. And so, thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
And then I'll defer to you on the resolution date.
I'll take a motion to amend
Yep, so I'll just move to amend the resolution where it reads November 20th, 2013, to amend it to read November 20th of 2016.
Is there a second?
Second the motion.
All those in favor of the amendment? Oh, yes.
I'd like to turn to our people. Is that the correct date that should be in there, period, before we jump to the, just changing the year?
So the documents that we're looking at say November 29th, 2016.
So
Okay.
I would offer a friendly change to
Well,
say
that-
November 29th, 2016?
That's
Yeah,
where they're signed. That's the signature date. So if you look at
Or when
the,
do they meet?
right,
November 29th,
Yeah, okay,
2016.
Okay, so.
A friendly amendment.
Friendly,
Yep.
I don't think we have to go through, okay.
Okay. All those in
Glad I
favor
spoke
of, all those in favor of amending to read November 29th, 2016, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Director Schmidt.
In my enthusiasm of my earlier comments, I don't want our public in particular to think that, oh, we've reached the epitome, and thank you, Dominic, for kind of bringing me back down to earth here a little bit. What has happened in the last 12 months is a foundation has been developed where the relationships and the trust are moving in the right direction. We still have huge opportunities to do better. And I have no doubt in my mind that we're moving in the right direction to do that. So let me temper my enthusiasm just a little bit in that it's a long way that we've come, but there's certainly, it's a beginning, not an end here, so to speak, of future opportunity that we can build, particularly in this particular population within our district. And I'm heartened to know, Dominic, that you're part of the team and working with Stacy on that we'll continue to build on this, and that a year from now, we'll have another good response, and maybe you'll be able to tell some stories about how we have moved from this point to a little higher up where we want to be, because obviously, there's always going to be room for improvement. So,
Great. Thank you, Director Luth. Any other questions or comments? All right. I would like to thank you both. I know, oh, yes, oh, sorry, yep. So this is an action item. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving the resolution as read, please signify by saying aye.
aye,
As amended, yes, as amended, yes, thank you.
still aye. Oh,
Opposed? Motion carries.
it's just too much fun not being in that hot seat. I tell you, I'm already enjoying it.
Thank you both very much.
You're doing a great job, by the way. Abigail.
All right, moving on to approving the 2017-2018 secondary course catalog. I'd like to invite Dave Helke to the podium, Burnsville High School principal.
Oh, my God, the rumors are correct. You're shrinking on us. I commend you
Oh, thank
as being a
you.
guy who is also always fighting the battle of the belt. You look
Working
great.
hard on that, thank you.
Look great.
Now I just gotta, find the right one, here we go. There we go. Excellent. Well, good evening, Chair Alt, school board members, Superintendent Gothard, and Student Representative Charlie Green. Every year, I have the opportunity to come before you and present the secondary course catalog. Last year, as you recall, there was a big shift in the catalog. We went, number one, combining all the secondary schools into one catalog, and we initiated our pathway framework and really reorganized how we have our students look at their classes and plan their high school program. There were a lot of reasons why we decided to go to a pathway model, and in particular, reasons for redesigning the course catalog. One was based on research. There's pretty clear research out there that really talks about the more explicit that students can be with putting together their plan for what they want to do after high school, the more they will persist with that plan. Relevance, helping our students really connect what they're doing in school to career opportunities, so that school is more than just taking classes, that there's some meaning behind the classes they're taking and how they're putting those classes together. Intentional high school planning. I've always said from the beginning that high school is a lot more than just checking off boxes on a sheet, earning credits. So just being a lot more intentional about the conversations that we have with students and about their planning in terms of what are their passions, what are their interests, what are their aptitudes, what may they want to try to do at school that can reinforce that. College and career readiness, you heard a lot about that earlier this evening, and I'm very thankful for the work that Marcia and Kathy are doing in this area. This pathway model, this course catalog, really, the power of it is that to me, it's a tool to really try to change the culture and the experience that our high school students have. What's powerful about it is how we can talk about it and how we can use it in the conversations that we can have with students. So when you see it, yes, it's got a lot of information in it, but I view it as a tool, and it's how we use it and how we start to really get our kids to see it that's going to have the value. Alignment of workforce needs or with workforce needs. There's a lot of conversations, a lot of opportunities I have to talk with individuals that are in different areas of business and in different parts of the workforce. And, you know, one of the nice things about the pathway model is it has an opportunity to really connect kids in and think about what's out there and what's available in the workforce. It also is a way for us to continually evaluate the pathways that we offer and look at, are they aligned with what the workforce needs are. Graduation with a plan. Again, so many students can walk across and graduate, receive a diploma. We're to the point where, you know, that's not good enough anymore. We want our students to have a plan and a purpose when they graduate. And so this is a tool that can help with that plan and the purpose, and along with all the things that that were presented earlier this evening as well. And then it is a way to really focus, what is Burnsville High School all about? When you're a student at Burnsville High School, what is it that we're doing? And so there is a branding aspect to it that really students are seeing career field, career pathway, and the talk, the look, everything always reminds students that this is about really looking at your future and really helping you plan and prepare for your future. Just a quick kind of a go-through, a review per se of the course catalog. There were no structural changes to the course catalog at all. We are continuing on with the structure that we started last year. There are different sections in the course catalog. We no longer section it out by department. And one of the sections is a college and career core section. And that's really to help all students understand that regardless of the career or college path that you're going to go on, there is a certain set of courses and experiences that are really necessary to build a foundation for all of them. And so in the college and career core section is where you find those required courses in the 4 academic areas, physical education and health, that we require all students, regardless of what they're interested in, what their career pathway may be, that they have to take. Within that, there are advanced level options for courses in many of those areas. The rest of the course catalog is laid out by the career fields. So the 4 circles that are on each side are our 4 career fields: business management, entrepreneurship, arts, global communications, information systems, health sciences, human services, and design, engineering, and manufacturing. Those each are sections in the course catalog. And then within each of those sections is where courses that students could take that would be applicable if they have an interest in that section. So again, moving our courses from just being listed in a department that doesn't mean a whole lot in terms of future planning to students, to career fields to help them make that connection between courses and their future planning. In the middle is Success 191. This was the first year that we had a required course for all of our 9th grade students. The purpose being to help build them up academically in terms of skills for success, and also to really help them launch and understand their interests and understand this career pathway framework. That has been going very well. A lot of enthusiasm is built over the semester with the teachers. In fact, we've had some inquiries from other school districts about what are we doing with that and sort of the why and how it is working. So that is intact as well for next year. Within each of those sections for each career field, we do list out pathways in a table that looks much like this. The example here really is for the engineering and manufacturing career field area. So there's 4 pathways: architecture, construction, manufacturing, engineering, design, technology, and then the engine and automotive. And then within each pathway, courses that we offer at the high school are listed. And then following this, there's several pages in of the specific course descriptions for those courses that students can go to and check out if they need more information. Really, our efforts are to, refine what we started last year. So there's not a whole lot of changes this year that I'm going to be presenting. The significant ones I've captured on this slide. There obviously are some formatting and just, grammatical changes and things that we've caught, but these are the significant changes that, really impact the content of the catalog. I did break this down by the different areas. So in career and technical education, just a name change. The course was called Fab Lab. We had a lot of discussion around, the course, should it really be named just for the place? What do students do in Fab Lab? It's about designing and fabrication. So it really is bringing in that manufacturing emphasis. So it's manufacturing, design, and fabrication. We're still going to put in parentheses Fab Lab because that's what it's known as right now. But we think that course title better reflects the content of the course. And then there was a couple course title changes in the foods and chef courses that we have. As you know, we started a culinary program last year, and Matt Deutsch, the instructor of that program, along with our FACS teachers, really did a nice job of working together to align all those courses so that students can see a nice sequence of courses in that area. And so Cooking in Motion and Foundation of Foods used to be called Cooking in the Fast Lane, and I believe Chef 1. So again, name changes for the course. Advanced Chef and Hospitality Management, that is the second year of the ProStart curriculum. So it's the second year of the curriculum that we started this year with the Chef 2 course. In language arts, the removal of Honors Media Lit and Honors American Lit. 2 years ago or 3 years ago, the Language Arts Department decided to not run 3 tracks, of having regular, actually 4 tracks of having an intervention or basic, a regular, and honors, and then AP. They moved to offering the regular and the AP. The idea is that all of our students should be in the, the core, expectations for everyone. And so they've done the same thing now at the senior level. So instead of having the regular, the honors, and then the CIS/AP options, it's the regular and then the CIS AP options. The other thing to note in language arts, we did not specifically put in the in-prep courses that have been in the last several years for grade 10. And that's only because we're in discussions right now about the teacher credentialing and making sure that we have a plan and Inver Hills has a plan with us so that those courses can be offered legitimately. So I'm very confident and I'm hoping that we'll get all those details worked out. It doesn't impact things too much because we simply will identify the students and then we can always create the sections in our schedule. But we didn't want to put it in the guide just because we're a little unsure of where we're at with that. Math, you will see Algebra 2, and you probably think, well, Algebra 2 has been around forever. Remember, there's been a change in the math sequence that started last year, so geometry now is taken by 9th graders, and then students take 2 years of algebra in 10th and 11th grade. The course in 10th grade now is Algebra 2, and then next year, when those students are juniors, that course, I believe, is it's Function, Statistics, and Trigonometry, FST. So Algebra 2 isn't really a new course, but it's new in 10th grade. And so next year we will have, this year we had two grade levels taking geometry, 9th and 10th in the transition. Next year we'll have 2 grade levels taking Algebra 2, 10th and 11th. And then by the 3rd year we'll be all on to the new sequence. And then in social studies, we offer a lot of CIS courses through the University of Minnesota. One of the more popular CIS courses has been CIS Sociology. Unfortunately, the U of M department that sponsored that CIS Sociology decided they weren't going to continue it. And so there was another department that picked up and said, we will offer a course in that same area. So it's CIS Sociology, an interdisciplinary look at the family and multicultural America. That'll, it's going to obviously look like a new title. It's really the course that the U of M now offers that's very much aligned to the old course. And we felt it pretty important to do that replacement simply because the CIS sociology area is a popular choice for our students. The goal of all of this, obviously, is when we stand on that platform in Pate Stadium and watch our students graduate and move on. And again, we want them to move on with a plan and a purpose, and this tool is a huge piece of that. At this point, I'd entertain any questions that you may have.
All right, this is an action item. Do I have a motion to approve the 2017-18 secondary course catalog?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, a motion and a second. Do we have any questions or discussion? Director Schmid.
Thank you, Principal Helke. I think I said this last year when it first came out, this sits on our table and people are in awe of it. By people, I mean people are not familiar with our district, that this is actually a high school catalog, and it continues to get better. I do have a few questions specifically related to it. I'm not sure if this needs to be corrected or if it was intentional, but when you look in the middle school section, M3, we talk about STEAM, and then in M4, we go back to STEM.
Oh, okay. We'll have to make note of that. I wasn't as involved in the middle school section, but I would assume that we'd want to be consistent.
I would agree.
Yep.
So, just to know, you talked about the new freshman success factors class. Of course, I have a freshman.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad to hear from the staff they think it's great. Because I don't hear from my student that is great. And so, I'm not just using her as my litmus test. And so it might be interesting at the end of the year just to see how it could be improved, both from a staff and a student perspective. Because some of the things I hear are like, interesting, but, I maintain neutral in front of her, but here I'm telling you.
No, I know. I would say it's interesting that you've heard that, because we just had a conversation this week about some of the students, and some of the feedback, and I know they're working to collect some of that feedback so that we can kind of refine the course so that it can be even more purposeful and relevant to the students. I've talked with a few students as well, and as you talk with them, a little bit of it too is the fact that sometimes ninth graders, they don't see the value in certain topics related to college and career readiness, and so it's not so much that they necessarily don't like it, it's just that it's like, well, why is this something that I need to spend time on now? But that's on us to try to figure out how can that best be presented and packaged.
Yeah.
So that it's more
new. I
engaging.
realize it's
Yep.
new.
Yep.
It'll evolve. It'll, become wonderful like everything else. So interesting, first year, it's not so much with the course catalog, but kind of. We had the senior campus the years prior, and now we don't. Did the course catalog, along with the single high school, allow for less conflicts in scheduling, or how would you rate that?
Outside of learning synergy, which probably was the greater hassle, there was a lot. It was much easier to schedule our seniors, much easier to schedule actually across all grade levels, because you do take away that constraint of, well, I'm only here in the afternoon or I'm only here in the morning. So I think the first time that we ran the schedule, it ran at 88% of the students actually scheduled with their courses, and in the past, we were lucky to get to 60% overall, and seniors sometimes are in 30 to 40%. So, yeah, that part has made a huge difference.
Barometer. And lastly, I have to be careful how I word this. So we talk about college and career readiness, and we have the pathways. Pathways are wonderful. But all of my college students have required world language, as part of either their entrance or to graduate from college. Yet in none of our pathways do we have a world language component.
So the world language actually, we have world languages,
We
and a lot
offered
of our
it at
students
the high
take them.
school,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. So it's not, world languages in and of themselves aren't necessarily a pathway. In fact, they're in the global electives, because the feeling is that a world language is a class that could be beneficial across any of the pathways that you take. I know our counselors engage in a lot of conversations with students around world language because the requirements for colleges can differ dramatically. From none to, 2 years to more than 2 years. So I think a lot of those conversations are had individually between students and counselors. But world languages, if you're asking, is it a requirement? It's not a requirement for graduation.
So, and this will be my opinion, but, from a curriculum perspective, if we had an area of growth, my friends from Fargo were just down, they can take Chinese and then all the traditional languages. We don't have nearly the offerings and I'm not just talking Fargo, comparatively to other districts in the world language arena. And so maybe that's a reason, but that's a curriculum discussion, but I'm just raising it. When we're talking about such a strong curriculum that we're offering throughout, it might be an area that we focus in, to compare to our neighbors.
Look at being a little bit more robust in that area.
A little bit. Because I think we offer 2.
Yeah, we're down to 2. I mean, German faded away several years ago, and we're down to French and Spanish, with the majority of students taking Spanish.
But thank you. Excellent program. I love it.
Thank you. Any other questions? Director Courier.
Well, I hesitate to use this word, but I was bragging about our course catalog today at the Minnesota School Boards Association. One of the activities there is we meet in a regional, like Lakeville, 196. We have our short little meetings, so I was bragging about our course catalog. And I promised I would send them a copy after we approved it. So I just wanted to forewarn you, so when you get phone calls, that you'll know what started that out. But I agree that this is so well organized, Dave, all that work that went into it last year so that you can go through and be able to follow the pathways or be able to research that. It's just wonderful. But I did want to warn you, you may be hearing from some other places, so.
And I think it's important, too, to give some accolades to our former associate principal, Gene Rosniak, who retired, because he put in a lot of time this fall to, get this together for this coming year. So huge thank you to him.
Great. Director Luth.
Charlie, I'm going to put you on the spot. I know you're good for it. Being a senior, you've seen a lot of this evolution and have used the older version, shall I say, of the course catalog. As a student now who's getting into his last semester here real soon, what do you think? I mean, what has this done for you personally, this course catalog that we first used last year and now we're looking to approve tonight?
Well, personally, I haven't been able to, well, not that I haven't been able to. I didn't involve myself in any of the pathways because of the course selection that I wanted to take through high school with heavy CIS and AP courses. So I didn't personally use this opportunity to further my education in that way. However, I have a number of friends who have taken advantage of the nursing program and the Fab Lab and chef programs, and they've loved it. They've said it's really opened my eyes, gotten me ready for what I want to do after high school, and just increased my knowledge about the trade itself.
So when Director Courier is out bragging it up, we're not going to get any "where's the beef" kind of questions from students, right? I mean, it's being well accepted by them as well.
Definitely not. Yes, it's.
And I think that's a very important component of this. And I know, Mr. Helke, that's also part of it. But we get in our adult world here, talking things from the board table. But this in particular is our young adults who are actually using this, et cetera. So I wanted to take advantage of Charlie here a little bit. As always, you did an admirable job, even when I try to put you on the spot. But anyways, it is important because, I mean, ultimately, the students and their parents are the ones that are really using this guide. So beyond me asking Charlie up here, how do we gauge those folks that are really using this and getting their feedback for improvement or whatever, or, and maybe we are, and that's part of the the accolades that are going out on this, which by the way, I totally agree with. I'm not suggesting they're not. But how do we get out to our real constituency that's using this document?
I think, I mean, at this point, a lot of what we've heard is anecdotal. We have gathered, some feedback, though. We did have students participate in some focus groups through the Greater Twin Cities United Way as part of our partnership with them. And one of the things that came through as a theme across the student groups from all the pathways was really an asking for more guidance and an asking for more time and talk around the catalog and around the pathways. And so, I know we've, Marcia, Kathy, myself have had some conversations just around what kinds of things can we do to be much more intentional and to ramp up that catalog and the talk around pathways, not only as part of what's coming up here in the next month as students select their courses, but, like I said at the beginning, how does this become part of the culture of what we do? So, and I think Superintendent Gothard talked about, how does this become part of the conversations that, whether it's I'm with a student or teachers or counselors or EAs or our parents, that we're using this and we're maximizing the talk around college and career planning, around pathways, because it truly is. I mean, the catalog's really nice, and I'm proud of it, and we're all proud of it. It's now making sure that, how can we maximize and build the capacity for everyone to use it and to refer to it and to do that work of college and career planning.
Dave, you might want to talk quickly about your 8th grade meetings coming up.
Oh, yes. Yes, and one of the things that we're going to be doing, now that we have our feet on the ground, as we've mastered this first half of this year, is bringing our 8th graders over a couple of times during the spring. To number one, transition them, give them a feel for the high school. But this first visit, really, the entire focus of it is so that they can see and that they have a chance to build a context around the pathways and the opportunities at the high school. So we will be bringing one school over on each day in the first week of February. We're still kind of planning out exactly how it will look, but it'll start with kind of a large group welcome, get them excited about the high school and the opportunities that exist. And then we're going to have an opportunity where we will have adult-led tours. We'll take smaller groups around and we will show them some of the areas, some of the spaces that are connected to these pathways. And we're also hoping to, with the students that aren't on tour, actually have some of our instructors in the MRAS and some of our students in the pathways share their experiences and actually set the stage up with props from the different pathways. And so it's just trying to, I think, again, a lot of times you go to registration, and I've seen it with my own kids, you bring home the registration sheet, you sit and you fill it out, you make sure you got the lines filled out, but you never have that deep conversation about why are you taking this, or what else is out there that you could take. So this is an effort to really add more to it than just here's the catalog, and then hopefully we're going to bring them back again later in the spring as well.
Any other questions?
Yeah.
Dr. Vandenboom.
And this is I'm just going to maybe refine what you're already talking about, but this course catalog, and this last year was the first year, this is 6 through 12.
Yes.
Okay. And so my question, and maybe you can't answer it, but your colleagues at Eagle Ridge, Metcalf, and Nicollet, is it working for 6, 7, 8? We're hearing a lot of how it's working in the career pathway toward the high school, but I'm kind of curious to know what the feedback has been, or if you have any feedback with regard to, is it working well? And you're talking about meeting with 8th grade. I'm at 6th grade and I'm a parent, and I'm trying to understand, is it working well through both the junior high and the senior high levels? Yes or no?
Middle school.
Middle school?
Middle school.
Junior high. Sorry. Middle school and high school levels?
I mean, I can't say that I've had any specific feedback. I do know that at the meeting we had with the counselors earlier this week, there was conversation about, how can we bring that pathway piece and be more explicit about the pathways down at that level. And that really is the impetus for the work that Kathy is doing with Marcia, in that as a high school, I mean, when you work at the high school, whether you're a teacher or a principal, you know that the success of students, whether it's with their college and career planning or academically, doesn't start when they come in ninth grade. And so with the college and career readiness, it's yes, how can we take that pathway framework and drive it down into the middle school? And ultimately, some pieces of it can go down into the elementary. So again, when students are coming up and they get to the high school, they know the context, they know the language, they've been exposed to some of it. So I can't speak to how the catalog's working at the middle school, but I do know there are conversations about how do we bring that pathway piece down into the middle school to a greater extent.
I have a couple other questions, way more tactical. So there's a section in here on page 4 called dual ranking system.
Mm-hmm.
And my curiosity here, it says the dual ranking starts at 10th grade, not 9th grade.
Right.
And so the question is, do all the other high schools in the area have dual ranking systems? Yes or no?
No.
Okay. And then why 10th grade, since we have a 9 through 12 high school? Why is that so we can compare it to previous years? Or is that?
No, the conversation, if I recall, when we kind of talked about 9 through 12 or 10 to 12, was really giving students a chance in ninth grade to really experience the high school, maybe experience the honors level courses or that AP Human Geography course. And, then make a decision as to, do I want to commit to this or don't I? So you could definitely include ninth grade, but it was really more about letting them kind of get their feet wet for the first year before they make a commitment to that.
Okay. And I don't know if you can explain it in simple terms, but what are the two different rankings? So on my report card, if I have a student who's in the system, I have 2 ranks.
Right, so you have and with the conversion right now to the new student information system, that other rank, we haven't been able to figure out a way to get it on that report card. So it's something that we have to kind of do separately. But there's 2 ranks. Your regular rank, so you're ranked across all the students in the class. So your GPA is a 3.262, and you are ranked with the other 649 students in the class. Then you have your dual rank, which is now you're ranked only amongst the students that are considered dual rank kids. So let's say there's 145 students that are dual ranked. You still have that same GPA, but now you're just ranked in those 160 some students. We're very, I haven't checked recently, but dual ranking is, I don't believe it's a very common tool that's used. And we have had some conversations around taking a look at other models that are out there, and just checking in with colleges to see if it even makes a difference.
Thank you for that. Mm-hmm. The other piece is you mentioned this as a marketing tool, and last year I remember, we kind of were, you need to print this and make it pretty, and put a nice cover on it and so forth. Are you planning to print it again and put a nice cover on it again this year? Because previous to that, it was basically photocopies and.
No, we're planning on printing. The power is, I was one actually that kind of thought, well, just put it on the website. People can go to the website and you can page through it. But after seeing those booklets printed and then hearing some of the feedback, there is some power in having the tangible book, or, when I talk to the students and I have the book and I can take them to the page in the book. So we are making print copies. It will be available as well on the website. And then we're still going to be using those symbols for the career fields around the high school during registration time.
I'm wondering how many real estate people carry, some of those books along with them. I'm guessing there's quite a few.
I know we've given out a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, when we've had different meetings and met with different people.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Anything else? All right. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving the 2017-18 secondary course catalog, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you very much, Dave. And with that, we will move into our report section.
Chairman Alt?
Yes.
Point of inquiry before we do that. In my packet, there was a section on committee appointments.
I'm sorry.
Committee appointments?
That was at the beginning in the organizational.
And that was
meeting.
part of the organizational meeting? Okay, it wasn't clear, I don't think it was in the outline, so, okay.
Yeah. All right, Charlie.
Thank you. I would like to start by saying please forgive my tardiness today. I didn't anticipate the amount of traffic. So, as said earlier in the meeting, there is a career fair 3:30 to 6 on January 30th. Upwards of 80 businesses will be in attendance. Student Council, partnering with DECA, looks to increase school spirit during Snow Week starting January 28th. Snow Week will help to continue the unification of students attending Burnsville High School through events during the week, including dodgeball, boot hockey, volleyball, a halftime relay at the girls' basketball game, daily trivia, food and winter clothing donations, and capping off the week with a dance. A significant amount of student success has occurred since our last meeting, including DECA sending multiple students to the state competition and having great success there, alongside 2 robotics teams from our district qualifying for state.
Great. Thank you very much. Superintendent Gothard.
Thank you, Chair Alt. First, I would like to point out, I just saw this on the last agenda item, that on page 9 of the curriculum guide is a rather expansive section on Naviance and how to navigate that and how to log on to. And as a parent myself who has had kiddos work on Naviance, I'm going to use this weekend. So check out page 9 if you are listening, but it does give, number one, it gives some really good connections in terms of what it allows students to do, but then also how to get started and how to log in. So check out page 9 and post-high school planning in the section. I'm glad that I stumbled across that. It is a great resource, as I just learned. So for my report this month, just a few things to add. Breakfast group. We've had several groups tour Burnsville High School during the school year to see how the new spaces and hear about our new innovative programming, some of which you heard tonight. Our expanded use of technology and increased opportunities for students. These groups have included realtors, business people, civic leaders, and other community members. Last week, we had a group of seniors who had not been inside Burnsville High School for a long time, or perhaps ever. And I know for a fact some of them are Burnsville High School graduates. Students in our culinary program cooked and served them breakfast. The group then toured the Fab Lab, Learning Commons, new classrooms, and the Activity Center. Several who attended commented that they were very impressed with the school and all that it now offers to students. We want to thank all of our community members for taking the time from their busy lives to take a new look at our district. I look forward to more upcoming opportunities for community members to tour the school. And I know Kathy Funston is also developing a matrix for the various types of visits that we would like to host, from individuals who contact us to large groups, of course, to our educational partners and our business partners. As Dr. Courier mentioned earlier, it is the Minnesota School Board Association Leadership Conference seminar is going on right now, and some of us were there today, and Director Luth and I tomorrow morning at 9:15 will be presenting on our story about Vision 191 and how in a very short time we created our vision and made it a reality. And again, hearing some of the pieces tonight, it's an exciting time, and we can definitely share some of those real-time stories with those that are there to listen. We're grateful to our community for supporting Vision 191 and to our staff members whose dedication and hard work has resulted in a redesign of our district to meet the needs of today's learner so they are future ready and community strong. Finally, in this very facility, Diamond Head Education Center, we're having a grand reopening celebration and information fair that will be held on Thursday, January 19th from 5 until 7 p.m. Once a shopping center, Diamond Head is now an incredible community resource for learners of all ages, from newborn to adults, in Burnsville-Eakin-Savage School District 191. Here are the things that you can discover at Diamond Head. You can take a tour of the building, enroll your children in our schools, sample community education classes, enjoy entertainment, take a luminary walk, and gather information about what Diamond Head offers you. More details are on the district's website at www.isd191.org. Changes here at Diamond Head are a part of our Vision 191 redesign. We are thankful to our community for supporting this vision. Diamond Head captures what unity and 191 means for our community. It truly is a center of learning for everyone. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. I'd like to invite board member reports. Director Courier.
Eric, don't feel bad about asking about the committee report, because I was going to announce that the committee that I'm chair of, I will send out an email to figure out when would be a good time to meet, but I think those of us that are chairs, that's what we should do, to find out what times work for everybody. And the Hall of Fame Committee, of which I represent you, we postponed our meeting because of weather this week. However, thanks to Ruth Dunn and her department, it's now on the website. You can nominate for the 2017 Hall of Fame induction ceremony at Burnsville High School. We haven't set the date yet, but you can nominate people. And our website is www.isd191.org. And I encourage, I just love being on that committee because the stories of the success of our grads and our staff and community are truly amazing. And one thing I think we can be proud of our Hall of Fame, it's not exclusionary, it's inclusionary. In other words, you can have band kids in there, you can have art kids in there, you can have sports, you can have all kinds of recognition of people's achievements. So look for that on the website.
Thank you very much. Any other reports? Director Schmid.
Well, thank you and congratulations, Cheryl. It's wonderful. First, I'd like to publicly and formally welcome Darcy and Eric to the board. It'll be a great pleasure. Serving the public is rewarding and challenging at the same time, but look forward to everything you bring to the board. You know, over the winter break, my brood of college kids all come back, and you know, they go and visit the high school, and they came back and said, "Dad, that is so cool." Right, my 9th grade daughter, she doesn't have a clue how it was, and so for her, it's like, this is how it is. Whereas the ones who went through it before. And so where I'm going with that is, the other night I was driving by, I don't know when they left, and so I see Lisa back there, but finally the semi-trailers in the back lot are gone. Hallelujah. I can tell we are making progress. I suspect pretty soon there won't be any change orders with those trailers gone.
But you had to be clerk for another year just to make sure we got that finished, right?
But what a difference. And, you know, it is so fun to go in that school. There's always activities there. You know, I was at some events just the other night, Tuesday night. And while we have official things going on in some of the areas, we have all the other areas going. I can't even imagine, quite frankly, and I did get asked this question, and so it's something we'll talk about, is I can't even imagine when the public, you know, starts utilizing that activity center, how much even more active it'll be. But certainly that is a question that I am receiving from the community more and more frequently. You know, when will the community center be? And I know we've had those discussions, so I do think it's something that we should think about, you know, providing some outward communications, you know, what our plans are. You know, we don't have to be concrete, but certainly I let them know, yes, the community will be invited to use the community center. We haven't quite worked out all the details, but it's forthcoming, so thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Director Luth?
Just a couple things. One, I'm sure we've started to see them coming in, but for our 2 new board members, the month of February is Read a Book Month. I love to read month. I knew I'd say it wrong, but we do get invites, and it's an opportunity, and I certainly encourage some of us who have our jobs during the day. It's a little bit difficult, but I try to get at least 1 or 2 in. I've already signed up for one. That Sioux Trail got right out there and got to me. Dee Dee used to be our principal over there. But anyways, I encourage all of us, you know, it's a fabulous opportunity to go in for it's really a relatively short period of time, but you get into a classroom with kids and you get to read a book, and it's just a really good thing. And so anyways, just want to encourage people as we start seeing those emails hitting our inboxes. The second item, and I'm hoping that this picture of realizing the vision is still up, I also wanted to welcome our 2 new members in particular formally, but I think I've told Eric this because we had a chance to meet, but the absolute best thing, most rewarding time we have as board members is on that graduation night out in Pates Field. I mean, it's just, and seeing that, it just warms my heart. And I got to tell you, you get the chance to experience that for the first time here, in June. It is quite the opportunity. Final thing is, now that I'm speaking to and I have your attention, the three of you, would you hang back after the meeting for just a couple minutes? We want to get a photograph, and you need to be with them as well. So don't run away. We're going to take a photograph for that. And Ruth Dunn is going to take care of that for us.
Great.
I'm done.
Thank you very much. Anyone else before I do my brief report?
You still get to do that as chair?
I'm
Okay, I was just
gonna
checking.
take
I didn't know
liberty.
if you-
So first, for those of us who might not have been aware, Superintendent Gothard was featured in the Movers and Shakers section of the business section in the Star Trib on January 9th. And I'd like to thank you again, Superintendent Gothard, for continuing to put yourself out there and highlighting the partnerships, the programming, everything that we're doing to really remove barriers for our students, between our students and our community, to really ensure their success. So that was just wonderful to see. Thank you. And although, so in the spirit of welcoming our two newest board members, I thought just a brief review of our code of ethics. I do have the policy with me, but I'm not going to read it because it's 2 pages long. I do have a summary, so just so that we all kind of center ourselves on this. And this is borrowed from the Minnesota School Board Association, so they take credit for that. An effective board takes full responsibility for its activity and behavior, encourages its members to express their individual opinions, respect others' opinions, and vote their conscience, speaks with one voice after reaching a decision, spends its time on board work rather than staff work, provides for orientation and ongoing training for all board members, follows its established policies, including the chain of command, by directing people with concerns to the appropriate staff, and finally, sets an example of respectful and civil leadership. Again, this is kind of a summary of Policy 209 by which we operate. I encourage anyone to review that, but again, I just wanted to welcome both of you, and as a new board, I am just really excited to be serving on your behalf and to do my best this year to move our work forward. So thank you very much. And with that, I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. Was that good of a meeting? All those in favor of adjourning, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you.
I'll take this chance to formally introduce myself.